Hello friends, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. It's Monday, so that means it's time for another episode of a fragrance battle. In today's video I'm going to compare three fragrances that are cloning Mancera's red tobacco. The first one comes from the house of Armaf and it's called Armaf Hunter Killer, and it's pretty well known in the community at this point. The second one comes from a less known brand that's called Pascal Morabito, and the fragrance is called Noir or Sultan Noir as it's known on some places. And the third fragrance, again not that very well known in the community, and I just did a review of this one last week. It comes from the house of Maison Alhambra and it's called Signatures Number 2. I'm always starting these fragrance battles by comparing the bottle design and the whole packaging of the fragrances. Again, in this video I'm not going to show you the boxes because they don't matter that much, and I'm going to go directly to the bottle design, and I'm going to start from my least favorite. And my least favorite is Armaf Hunter Killer. I've said this many times, but this bottle is super tacky and it's one of the ugliest bottles in my collection. I really don't like the bottle design of Hunter Killer. When it comes to Pascal Morabito, this is a little bit more likable compared to Hunter Killer. Again, it not has the best quality in the world. The cap is very light and plasticky, but at least the bottle doesn't have this ugly looking shape. So I'll put it in second position. And when it comes to the bottle design and in fact the packaging as well, because the first two fragrances that I just showed, they come very plainly packaged. For me, the winner is Signatures Number 2 from Maison Alhambra. I really like the bottle design of this fragrance, and also the whole packaging is really nice. If you enjoy my videos guys, but you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. That really motivates me to keep creating more useful content for you guys. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, now the next way that I'm going to compare the three fragrances is by their their scent profile. And I'm going to try to quickly explain how all three smell. Now, as I said in the opening, these three fragrances are clones of Mancera's red tobacco, so that means that they have a spicy tobacco-based scent profile that has quite a lot of sweetness as well, with some booziness and some smoky vibes as well. When it comes to the Pascal Morabito fragrance, now this thing is it lacks a bit of the sweetness that you get out of the original scent and that you get out of the other two members, the other two participants in this fragrance battle. The way that this differs the most compared to the other two fragrances is by the amount of incense that has been used in this fragrance. This is the most smoky fragrance out of all three here. And it also lacks, it has a slight boozy note, but it lacks the strength of the boozy note of the original and the other two fragrances in here. When it comes to Armaf Hunter Killer, now this fragrance again is not super close to the original scent. It differs a little bit. The opening is quite similar, but this thing is a little bit more fruity. I also get more of a tobacco note, a stronger tobacco note in here compared to red tobacco and the other two fragrances in this fragrance battle. And this thing is also, a little bit sweeter compared to all three others. On the dry down, also, as I said, this is fruitier. The tobacco note just feels sweeter. This doesn't have a strong boozy note in here, and it also lacks the incense vibe. There is some incense in here, but it's by far, it's quite less compared to what you get with the original scent. When it comes to Signatures Number 2, this thing is the closest to the original scent in my opinion, but it also has a few twists. This has a stronger boozy vibe in it compared to the original scent. It also feels a little bit darker, a little bit less sweet, and also has a quite strong leather note on the dry down. If I have to pick up a winner out of the three fragrances when it comes to how enjoyable I feel the scent profile, it will be Armaf's Hunter Killer first, then it's going to be Signatures Number 2 from Maison Alhambra, and in third position is going to be Sultan Noir. When it comes to how close they are to the original scent, the furthest away will be Noir from Sultan Noir from Pascal Morabito. Next one that's a little bit closer to the original scent is Armaf Hunter Killer. This thing feels closer to the red tobacco compared to Sultan Noir. It's sweeter, it's a little bit more boozy. It's less smoky and has a stronger tobacco note, all in all, this is a very enjoyable scent. And to my nose, the closest thing to the original fragrance is Signatures number 2 from Maison Alhambra. As I said, it's a bit darker compared to the original scent, a little bit less sweet, a little bit more boozy, and has a stronger leather note. But all in all, out of the 3 fragrances in here, this feels closest to the original. The next way that I'm going to compare the 3 fragrances will be by their performance. And just keep in mind, I have to mention this, all 3 fragrances that I'm showing you in this video today are quite a strong performers. So none of them will leave you disappointed, but still I have to rank them. And the fragrance that has the least amount of performance for me has been Noir, Sultan Noir from Pascal Morabito. But still, I've been getting a solid 8 hours out of this fragrance without any problem, with a decent projection in the first about hour and a half. In second position when it comes to the performance is Armaf Hunter Killer. This thing gives me somewhere between 9 and 10 hours of performance on my skin, with good projection in the first 2 hours. And the strongest fragrance in here has been for me the Maison Alhambra Signatures number 2. This thing goes for 10 hours, even sometimes a little bit over 10 hours when it comes to performance, and has been giving me about 2.5 hours of solid projection. The next way that I'm going to compare the 3 fragrances will be by their price tag. And here, you know, the cheapest fragrance is the winner of that round, of that comparison. And I'll start with the most expensive fragrance, but with a bit of a sort of an explanation. Now, for me, the worst deal out of all 3, just keep in mind that all 3 are actually pretty affordable, but still, the worst deal out of the 3 that are mentioned in this video is going to be Maison Alhambra Signatures number 2. Now, on its own, this actually is not the most expensive fragrance in this video, but keep in mind that this thing has a 50 milliliter bottle size, which means that you're actually getting twice less amount of juice compared to the other 2 fragrances, and that's why this is going to be ranked in last position. Usually this thing costs around about 18 to 20 euros here in Europe, at least that's what I've paid for this fragrance. On its own, the price tag is good, considering this has great performance and great presentation and packaging, but this is a 50 milliliter bottle size. The next one, you know, price wise, as a good deal is Armaf Hunter Killer. Now, when this initially was released, it was a bit more expensive, but right now, at least around here, this costs about 20 to 25 euros, but you're getting a 100 milliliter bottle size, which makes it, in my opinion, a better deal compared to Maison Alhambra Signatures number 2. And the most or the least expensive fragrance in this case is Pascal Morabito Sultan Noir. This thing usually costs about 15 euros, even less. I think I paid something like 12 or 13 euros in order to get this fragrance, which is a fantastic deal. So the winner in the pricing round is Sultan Noir. When it comes to versatility, all 3 are almost equally versatile, considering the fact that they're copying the same original scent, and they're mostly orientated towards you know, the colder months of the year because of their scent profile. But still, if I have to pick up a winner, there will be a slight edge for me, you know, by a slight margin, will be Armaf Hunter Killer, simply because this is the least challenging scent in here and can be considered an unisex fragrance, and because it lacks the strong boozy vibe, it lacks the strong incense vibe. I think this thing is a little bit more wearable, and you can get away with Hunter Killer, you know, in slightly warmer weather, as long as you don't go too heavy on the trigger. And on to my final thoughts and the final results of this fragrance battle. My personal winner in today's fragrance battle is going to be Armaf's Hunter Killer by a tiny margin over Signatures number 2, and I'll explain why that's the case. For me, the main reason why this is the winner is simply because this has the least challenging scent profile and it's the most wearable out of the 3 fragrances. You get a nice balance between a slight boozy note, slight incense note, sweet tobacco, with some added fruity sweetness. You get a really nice cherry note on the dry down of this fragrance. You get great performance and projection. The price tag is pretty affordable, and this fragrance has only one con, and that's the bottle design. You know, I really don't like the presentation, but that should not stop you of getting Armaf Hunter Killer simply because the scent is very good and the performance is very good. So my personal winner in today's fragrance battle is going to be Hunter Killer. A very close second will be for Signatures number 2 from Maison Alhambra. I find this to be the most challenging scent out of the three in here, but in a very good way. Maison Alhambra have taken the original DNA. They've added a stronger boozy vibe. They've added some leather on the dry down, some more earthiness, some more darkness, and made this thing a really unique scent. And I absolutely enjoyed this fragrance. I enjoy it because of the scent profile. I like it because of the fantastic performance that you get, because of the fantastic projection, the fantastic packaging and whole experience that you get. And again, only one con. I have only one con with this fragrance, and that's the bottle size. That's only 50 milliliters. In third position in this fragrance battle will be Pascal Morabito's Sultan Noir. On its own though, this is not a bad fragrance at all. In fact, it's quite a good scent considering the price point of this thing, that it costs like 12-13 euros, which is so incredibly cheap at this point in time. You get a pretty similar scent profile to red tobacco, but here you have a stronger Middle Eastern vibe. You get more incense and you lack some of the sweetness. So if you're interested in a little bit more of a Middle Eastern take on the Mancera's red tobacco DNA, again, I think Sultan Noir from Pascal Morabito definitely deserves some attention. So guys, in today's episode of Fragrance Battle, I compared 3 clones of Mancera's red tobacco. From Armaf, Armaf Hunter Killer, from Maison Alhambra, Signatures number 2, and from Pascal Morabito, Sultan Noir. I hope that you found this video interesting or helpful. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.